Today we'll be talking about some trade news. Oh, there's some trade news. Yeah, coming out of Phoenix. The Lakers, the Pacers, and the Knicks are interested in Nick Richards. Yes. This is a report coming from, I believe, my colleague Michael Scotto at hoopshype.com. Hit that button down below in the description. Should be linked his work, the latest notebook that we released. And while you're there, comment, what do you think? Which team should go after this guy? He's a solid 7-7 guy off the bench, can be a double-double guy starting, and shouldn't cost you too much. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And if you made it so far in the video, it seems like you should like and subscribe. It'll help out the channel a ton. Now, I'd like you to hear your opinions on this new setup that I have going right here with the slideshows and everything. I actually think it looked kind of good, right? But no. What we got going right here is an opportunity for all three of these teams to get a backup center that they've kind of needed. And what do I mean by this? Well, Mark Williams and Kaman Mawach are already there, and so is Oso Ighodaro. Richards is on a $5 million non-guaranteed salary and is expected to be guaranteed by the Suns, but they're looking at trading him. It's not that they're going to trade him. They're dangling him in trade talks, and I think the Lakers, the Pacers, and the Knicks are probably looking as him to be legit backup options, because if they were able to trade Mitchell Robinson, Nick Richards would be a great replacement. Pacers have needed a backup center, and they're expected to bring back Miles Turner. So if you're able to do this, you get a quality backup, which we've talked about since last year, one of the better backups. This is a guy who last year in 22 minutes per game while starting 43 of 57 games between the Hornets and Suns, averaged 9 points and 8 rebounds a game while blocking one block a game. And he's a guy who per 36 is averaging a double-double. So let's go through, talk about all three teams. I think the Lakers look at Nick Richards as a backup option to be their starting center if they strike out on any better centers. So Nick Richards to the Pacers, how would this work, or how would this look? I don't think Enrique Freeman's coming back. They would bring Thomas Bryant back, but if they get Nick Richards, I think they're fine letting Thomas Bryant walk. They kept Tony Bradley, from my understanding, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin, Andrew Nembhard, TJ McConnell, Ben Shepherd, Johnny Furphy, Obi Toppin, Ray J. I don't know if they'll keep Ray J. Dennis, but I like Ray J. Dennis. It seems like they do too. Cam Jones and Taylor Peter were their 2 draft picks this year, while also Tyrese Halliburton's expected to miss the entire year or most of it due to that torn Achilles. And if you look at bringing in a guy like Nick Richards behind Miles Turner, Nick Richards is an upgrade of Tony Bradley. Now you got 3 centers deep. Kind of makes them a bit more menacing after having Isaiah Jackson and both James Wiseman. Last year's backup centers popped their Achilles what felt like a week apart from each other. As I mentioned earlier, Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent are the 2 salaries that they are most likely to trade, Maxi Kleber being the more than likely one, as he barely played for them. But imagine Nick Richards being the starting center if they strike out on everybody. They're expected to bring back Koloku, Jackson Hayes if they can't get somebody. If they can bring back Hayes and have Nick Richards and Koloku and Jared Vanderbilt and then trade Jemison on a 2-way, I don't think that's that bad of a center rotation, kind of center by committee that I can live with next to Adu Thiero and Dalton Connect, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura. But it's not bad size there next to their forwards. Then you have Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Ronnie James, Shake Milton, Jordan Goodwin, Luka Doncic. They're expected to lose Dorian Finney-Smith is the report. So I wonder how that's all going to go down now that, Dorian's gone. I think they'll have a bit more spending room and a bit more of a luxury to play with, but they're still might be able to keep Dorian Finney-Smith, but it's just being reported that they aren't going to be able to. Now, the rest of the team, if we're looking at Nick Richards to the Knicks, Precious Achiuwa is not expected to return. Landry Shamet might return. I do believe that Marjon Beauchamp and Kevin McCullough are both expected to return. They did bring back Errol Hawkporty, and right now their front court is Diawara, if he isn't stashed, Errol Hawkporty, Mitchell Robinson, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Trading for Nick Richards would allow you to trade Mitchell Robinson, who's had some injury concerns, and then obviously Deuce McBride, Pacome, and Tyler Kolek make up the bench that they're still trying to build back up after all these trades. And look at all their free agents. They have Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Again, Nick Richards can play alongside Karl-Anthony Towns or come off the bench and be the rim protector that they've needed, as last year having Mitchell Robinson out for most of the year wasn't the most was more counterintuitive than helping with their team's rim protection, as they were one of the worst interior defenses in the league. So we made it to the end of the video. If you're a fan of either of these teams, I'm not giving up anything more than second round picks. Maybe a young guy, if I'm not trying to give up second round picks due to the fact that he went for second round picks in the original trade. And if anything, his value's gone lower because he does not have a remaining year on his deal and he's an expiring one. That's my 2 cents on that one. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. Which team is most likely to go for him? And I think it is the Lakers if they strike out on everybody else. You go ahead and you get yourself a guy like Nick Richards. Lemon water. Stay hydrated, friends. It's important. Well, what would you do